Hi there, gang. It's Blake, and it is Halloween. So happy Halloween! There are so many things I'm supposed to be doing right now, um, but I was watching this video yesterday on YouTube that made me want to say a quick little bit about it. Um, so that's what I'm gonna do today before I go do everything that I'm supposed to do. And my room is a complete disaster. Like, I don't even like being in here, which is why I'm sitting on the floor, because if I move the camera any other place, you can see just how bad it is. So if I hide right here, you can't quite tell. But I mean, there's stuff right here that I'm giving away, like clothes, and I mean, there's just stuff everywhere. Um, and then this is how my day started. This right here. I was outside trying to find like better lighting, and we have this big wooden swing set, and I was like trying to find somewhere to go and looking around. I was like, oh, well, maybe I could sit on this swing. So I tried to slip into the swing, but I have these like gym shorts on that are pretty slick, so, and my phone in this hand. So I just kind of like slid straight backward in the swing set, straight backward, and it would, like, I was like, okay, it's surely about to catch me on the back, and it didn't. So I scraped this all the way down like the big fat chain that it's on, and then hit the ground. So that's so that's how my day is starting right now. So I think it's telling me that I need to maybe stay inside, but we'll see how that goes. But anyway, what I wanted to talk about was this video, which I'll link below, um, if I can find it, because I don't think that I saved it, but it should be in my history. I should be able to find it. So it was about this guy who had like chronic liver disease, like alcohol, like cirrhosis, um, like way advanced, and like in the hospital. And like if you watch the video that I'll post, then you can see like what it can actually look like in the last stages. I mean, it's horrible, but like this had happened so fast, and it came from the topic of like drinking during the pandemic, and how the number of cases of people with severe liver disease from alcohol spiked during that year, that everyone was just inside all the time, which is another interesting topic that I would like to make a video about at some point, but not today. Um, and it was talking about this guy who is in such bad shape, obviously, um, and kind of the stigma around him having such an issue with finding a donor, because of the cirrhosis that he had was from alcohol abuse. So I mean, it which is a thing. There is definitely a stigma about asking for help or looking for a transplant when you are suffering because of a drinking problem that you had. And you can see it a lot. I mean, there's a huge difference whenever you drink, and like it's a problem, and people around you know it's a problem, and then you make that decision to go sober, and everybody's supporting you, and like, good job. Like, I mean, it's been like a month. Oh, that's awesome, man, good job. A month. Next it's going to be 6 months, then a year, then 2 years, and everybody's like on your side, and you feel like, okay, every people want me to succeed, and this is good, this is what I need, and this is um well, anyway, but yeah, this is great. um and the next thing you know, you're calling yourself sober, because it's been, long enough where you can say, yeah, I'm recovering, but I am sober. And people who have supported you this way are so happy. And then you come to a point where, okay, yes, I have quit drinking, but I still have these liver issues. And so then the process of finding a donor becomes hard, because there's that stigma wall, that you just hit that stigma wall where people are like, okay, yeah, you need a liver, but but you kind of brought this on yourself, and who's to say you're not going to go back and do it again? So why do you deserve a liver more than someone who didn't have a drinking problem? And and that's a tough thing, because I mean, and on one hand they have a point. You did drink to the point that this happened, um, and who can, and there is no certainty that you won't go back to it. Like, you can, no matter what you tell yourself or how much you believe it and the people around you believe it, that yes, I am done, I'm never going to touch this again. No one can know that for sure. So people see, okay, this person really needs this help, but then we have this person over here who's dying from liver disease that had nothing to do with drinking. So if you get a liver, then you're taking one away from a potential life who didn't waste it. And I've had people use that word to me, like, why, like, just someone here who is asking for another liver just to destroy, just to keep wasting his life. So I mean, and it's hurtful and it's offensive, because like, you don't know anything about me, number one, and number two, who's to say who you are in your life? Like, I mean, no one's judging you, because everything isn't on display for you. But the way that it's coming across is that you are perfect and everyone else is perfect, but I'm going to keep using the I, because it's easier just to say it from the first person perspective. So everyone here is perfect, but I had this drinking problem that led to this, and now I have decided to move on in a way that's going to take that experience and help people in the future, knowing that I don't want to go back to drinking. I not like nothing about it. Everything about it sounds like it's just going to ruin my life and get in the way of what I've decided that I want to do and what I'm going to use this second chance for. But I'm not perfect. So it's up to your opinion then to say that I don't deserve that and someone else does. And who's even to say who this other person is? Not to even, we don't need to draw these contrasts, but just saying, on paper you've got someone who drank himself or herself to liver disease, and then you have someone who is comatose in the hospital with liver disease, not from drinking. But we don't know who this person is or what they've done. But what you did, you drank too much, so you don't deserve this liver, but this person does. So that's the stigma, and a lot of people don't really want to admit that they think that way, but it's clear and it's understandable. And I mean, I don't judge people for feeling that way, but it's sad to watch in that episode. um and like, you can tell from some of the groups that I have joined. um I have no problem admitting to people that I've had this issue in the past. I mean, I think it's good that anyone who goes into counseling other people usually benefit from having lived through a particular crisis that they're helping other people with. And they often look for those kind of people because they're the best to offer advice and to explain the path through it. So those people are preferable in a situation like that, where you're trying to convince someone to change their life. You want someone who's been through it. So there is a benefit to that. Um, where was I going with that? But Oh, but in these rooms, like these discussions, these groups that I belong to, there are definitely some people who, like, they're interested in my story and the way that I am able to tell it. They're always impressed by that, and they're like, "You sound like such a nice person, and I hope the best for you. Like, what led to your drinking?" If that's their first question, I never respond. I just let it go. I'm like, this is a person who, if that's their first question, is why you have liver disease, those people are often going to be the ones who are going to judge you. Some will make a note saying it doesn't matter how you got it, and I think that that is considerate, and usually they pretty much mean that. But if people don't make that note, or they don't try to get to know you first, or just talk with you before asking, well, why do you have this, then any of those people, you can pretty much take at their word that they're just trying to help. But someone who doesn't do that, who immediately goes for the why, they're usually the ones who are going to, just in my experience, those are the ones who are going to be the quickest to judge you. um, and it's the same for all substance abuse. I've known several people, too many, who have even died from substance abuse, um, of different types, and same story. People are always so happy whenever they try to change their lives and they're trying to better themselves, and but people, and then whenever they need help a little further, a little deeper, that's when people tend to start turning away slowly. But and not all by any means. There have been so many people who have been so helpful to me and so loving, and it's just, I mean, it's been incredible. And but I've seen it happen even more so with people who are addicted to drugs, that when people are actually reaching out for you to do something to help them, that's when people will slowly turn away, because it's not their job. You brought this on yourself, and these things are true. But one of the things that I think is missing is just compassion and being there for each other. And this just brings me back to us being like social creatures. We're supposed to be there for each other, and we're supposed to be able to talk to each other and be around each other and love each other. And just because someone has an issue doesn't necessarily make it okay to turn your back on them because you haven't made that mistake. But that person probably hasn't made all the mistakes that you have made. Um, Yours just didn't lead to the same issue. And but that's, comparison is not, again, what I want to talk about. It's just the I just wish that people understood that we all are people, the same as anyone else. We all have one life to live here, and it's not any of our job to judge someone else for doing something that we wouldn't do. I mean, it's the ultimate, it's the height of cruelty, I think, to try to make anyone's life more difficult for any reason. There is absolutely no reason to go out of your way to make someone else's one life harder. I don't see it. I never will. So for that, I say good for me. I wish most people thought that way, but they don't. Um, but there are a lot of people who do. Um, and I don't know. It was just such a sad thing, and I don't want it to come across like I am peddling or whining. I just want people to be aware of what this makes other people feel like. if you're there for them, then it's best to be there for them all the way through. Otherwise, don't start. No one is asking you to. So if you, I mean, if you want to support someone, and honestly you hope that they get better and you want to see that happen, then do it the whole way through. Because if you turn your back on them, that's when things. Just imagine if you're in a situation where you're facing one of the toughest decisions that you've ever had to, and your life is literally hanging in the balance, and you're like, I just need people to support me. I just need one person to be there for me, just one person to help. And you've helped all this way, and then when they say, I just really, really need you right now, you turn your back. How would that make you feel? And I get it. I mean, I'm going through this training with this new job, and my emotions are high on that. But it's true, and anybody who knows me knows that I honestly believe that. I don't think that we listen to each other enough, that we care about each other enough. I think that people just want to argue way too much. And there's no need. There's no need for it. So, I mean, basically, I wanted to make one more point as far as donations go. If anyone in the future, if you come across anyone, or you yourself, heaven forbid, end up needing a transplant like this, if you're getting a living donor and you are actively looking for your own donor, that's not taking away from anyone else. That's actually opening up a spot, because you are taking yourself off of the list by getting your own donor, by finding someone who wasn't looking to do this, but you found someone who's willing to help you with this. Then you've taken yourself off of the donor, the national list, and you've actually opened up a spot for someone else, or for someone to move up. So this idea that you're taking a liver from someone else is 100% not the case if you're looking for a living donor. And a living donor is the ideal way to go anyway. So I just want, like, I'm not lecturing, I'm not trying to sound like I am judging anyone or anything like that. I just want people to be aware of just take a second to put yourself in someone else's shoes. No one's perfect. We've all made mistakes. But does that mean just because of the mistake that we've made? I mean, it's not like the same as, killing someone or hurting children or something like that. That's something else altogether. But when it comes to just personal mistakes that lead to health issues, do we deserve to be put in categories for that? And this is a legitimate question. I mean, however you feel about it, leave a comment, because I mean, I would just like to know. And I know that people have. This is super split. I know that. So yeah, whatever you think about it, please leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Or if I said anything that you didn't realize. Because ultimately that's my goal too, is to just inform people what this living donor transplant is, like what it's all about. And again, you're not taking a liver from anyone. You're actually taking yourself off of that list and making room for someone else. So if this was helpful for you, like and subscribe. Let me know what you think about this topic, because it's important to a lot of people. And you never know if you'll be one of those people one day. You never know. So on the note that I wanted to end with is just try to, I mean, not try to, that sounds too preachy. I don't want to preach to anybody. I just want to say that it does a world of good when we can put ourselves in other people's shoes for anything. If we can just imagine what someone's life would be like, would we be so judgmental all the time? Just anyone that you disagree with, anyone that you see doing something that you're just appalled by, your political beliefs, just, I mean, anything. Just take a second and think about, okay, well, what if I had to do this and this and this? I mean, that's what compassion is. So, on that note, take care of yourselves, and I'll talk to you next time. Back to work I go. Happy Halloween.